Yo, this is your boy Ringo Kicks, back again with a new video. What I would like to share is my experience pretty much on the release date for the Levi's Jordan 4 Denim. This particular shoe was scheduled to release on January 17th, 2018 of yesterday. And it was an interesting experience. I wouldn't even say it was a day where we caught L's. To catch an L is when you went to a store, they had the shoes, but they sold out and you just missed your chance. But when a store is scheduled to release a shoe and they have a promotion that says first come, first served, then they should live by their word, because your word should be your bond. Unfortunately for Levi's, they failed because their company was very unprofessional and unorganized, and I don't believe that they have any expertise in understanding New York City and how the sneaker community reacts to limited shoes. You see, when you have a Jordan shoe that is pretty limited, right, and you promote it as first come, first serve, that will trigger not necessarily the fans who actually buy shoes to wear it. We're not going to be the ones that's going to come out to the store wilding out, acting crazy. We're not from that crowd. All we want to do is get our shoes and go home. The last thing we want to do is cause any sort of disturbance that will cost us our opportunity to pretty much get the shoes. So for whatever reason, if I can get to the point, I was out there 14 hours, right? 14 hours. I left on the 16th, and this was around, you could say 11 p.m. at night, because I figure, at 11 p.m. at night, nobody can't possibly be out there. I figure it's cold. It's 11 p.m. Who in the world's gonna be out there? People gotta go to work. I'm on vacation, so I'm good. I can literally go out there and spend all the time out there. And they said they want to release the shoe around 7 a.m. So I figure, hey, I could do this. This will be easy. An easy day in the park. So, we get there and we're greeted with silence, right? And I'm hearing that they turned everyone away, the police turned everyone away, and all of this other stuff. And I'm like, what the hell happened out here? So at that point, I'm like, look, everybody's gone. I don't have nothing to do with whatever happened. I'm a grown man. It is what it is. I'm here for shoes. At the end of the day, the company got to keep their word. Advertisement is advertisement. But they were talking about, they're not releasing the shoes and they're not this. And I'm like, look, I don't know what kind of business practices Levi's and these companies are in, but they act as if though these shoes is Gucci, some sort of Louis Vuitton or something. I don't know what they're trying to do or what's their purpose behind the hype. But I think that if there is someone to blame for any sort of chaos or anything that breaks out within the streets, I blame Levi's. And the reason why I blame Levi's is because they're the ones who organized the event. And when you pretty much fail in your planning and you don't have a strategic idea and plan of execution on how to release a shoe to the public as a first come first serve, there are some things you have to have in place. You have to have order. You have to have a system by which we can calculate who was there first, so that there is no skipping, there is no, people jumping in front of the line. And I heard that that's what went down. There was a lot of wilding out, people screaming, yelling, and acting crazy. Now, a lot of that is coming from a lot of people who are not even there to buy shoes. See, I understand the streets, you know what I'm saying? I know what's going on in the streets. I understand the culture. And a lot of times at sneaker events, you have different types of people. You have the resellers, right? Then you have the hood brothers. Then you have thieves. And then you have actual working people that want to buy shoes. So when you put all of us into one place, right, you're going to have people that are going to be civil, and then you're going to have people that's going to be uncivilized. So the uncivilized are the people who really don't have no money in their pocket. They're there just to cause problems, because they have a track record of making sure that nobody get the kicks, because they're not gonna get the kicks. So they act wild, they act crazy, they do a bunch of stupid stuff, right? And then it forces the company or the store to shut everything down, because they're gonna start being concerned about safety and their employees and all of that mess, because that's pretty much what Levi's was saying. They said they shut it down to protect their fans and their employees and so forth. But I think that that's BS, because if you're protecting your fans, then you would have made sure that the fans got the shoes. But you didn't do that. You were protecting your best interests, and that's all that mattered. At the end of the day, the fans, we're the ones that's outside with the money in our pockets waiting to spend. You understand? I didn't go out there to just sit in the cold and play games. I came down there with the goal of getting the shoes, and I knew that I had these shoes in the bag. Like, I just knew it. I'm like, I'm gonna be there early. I was pretty much the first person there. Pretty much after they done, sent whoever home or cleared the streets or whatever the case is, I was pretty much there. You had a couple of, I think probably like one or two guys in a car, and but after that some people started showing up. You had people there, and it was just a basic crowd, not no rowdy crowd. People was just kind of just waiting it out. And then they call the cops again, and they telling us they're not doing this and they're not doing that, and I guess people started to leave again, and we just said, look, I'm waiting here, man. I'm waiting here, and it is what it is. And we waited and waited, and eventually we just kind of just hoping that everything was just gonna work out fine, because we figure we waited this long. I know they got cameras somewhere there got to be a camera where they can see us, so they have to see that we're all civilized outside. We're standing. We started lining up. We were even trying to create like a system where we were writing down names so that everybody know who was where, so that there's no cutting in front of people and none of that foolishness. And even with all of that, we were getting a lot of runaround. They were giving us a lot of lies. They were telling us a lot of stuff. Oh, we don't got no shoes here. A bunch of BS. I mean, at the end of the day, employees were coming into work. You understand? You're not going to come into work that early, right? If there is no shoes in the store. You're not talking to an idiot. And see, this is what I don't like about a lot of companies. They think that we're stupid people. You're dealing with adults who are educated about the culture of sneakers, the culture of economics, the culture of everything that deals with sales and e-commerce. It's just that simple. Nobody comes to work early in the morning to sit down all day doing nothing if there is no products to sell. You understand? They kept talking about, it's up to corporate. It's up to corporate to say this and give us the green light. A lot of BS. It was very, very disappointing. I mean, they were so unprofessional. Then they started putting notes on the door saying that it's over. Nothing is going to be sold at this location. Nothing is happening there. But yet on social media, they wrote on their Instagram that the release of the shoe has been postponed. Now, if you know anything about the word postpone, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be sold at that store no more. Postpone just literally mean that we're going to hold off for a while, and we may hit you guys back up later on in the day, or perhaps tomorrow once we gather all of our intel and organize, and maybe it's our fault that the release didn't go as planned, so we're trying to organize it with our marketing team and so forth. Take responsibility that they didn't do that. So they contradicted themselves. The notes that they put on their front door was very disrespectful, because you have to understand, we're all grown adults. We're there. We had nothing to do with the crowds before. And I know how New York City is. I live in New York City. I understand how New York City is. There's been a lot of shoe releases where it was shut down because the crowd had different kind of people in it. And see, businesses like Levi's and or other foot shoe supply stores, they have to understand that when you have a shoe release, you have to know how to release the shoe to the public so that it doesn't cause an uproar of feelings and certain actions from people. Because once again, your goal is to make sure that you serve your fans and the real customers who are there to spend money. You have to always understand that when a shoe is released, everybody that's out there is not trying to buy the shoe. You have to understand that there are people that's out there waiting to rob somebody. This is why when you have an event, you're supposed to have police on deck. You understand? You're supposed to have a certain system by which people can line up. No skipping, no nothing. As soon as one person come up, they got to go through the barricade and go around and go through and go up and down until they get to the checkpoint, and they're in line first. And from there, you got to stand there. If you move from there, you lose your spot. You got to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry. It is what it is. You lose your spot. Create a number system, put a band on everybody's hand. That way everything is good, so that if somebody did have to go to the bathroom or whatever the case is, they got a band on their hand, and it's a certified band from Levi's. That way everybody can know exactly who's who. You understand? But they didn't have none of this stuff in place. They didn't have a system in place by which these things can happen. Now, I've been hearing rumors that, before I came over there, they had some bands or some stuff they gave away, and, they only had a certain amount or something like that. It was just so unorganized. It's just so unprofessional, because, when people come to pick up shoes, they're not there to go through the BS. They just want their shoes and go home. At the end of the day, that's all we wanted. And we were out there 14 hours. At least I can speak for myself. You understand? We're talking about in the cold, in the rain. At first, people were hanging out inside the, I think it was the bank or whatever, next door to the Levi's, and they eventually kicked everybody out of there because they had some hood brothers that came in there, and they probably didn't like seeing their faces in there, and they kicked everybody out. But it's interesting, they kicked everybody out when the hood brothers came in there, but they didn't say nothing while everybody else was there, which shows again that they were just basically trying to get the negative energy away, and negative energy to them is black people. At the end of the day, they just wanted to get that negative energy away. And, in a way, I can understand negative energy, whether it's from a black or white or Asian. It doesn't really matter. The point is, when you have an event like that, you have to be more organized. You have to understand what can go wrong. First come, first serve. At that time, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be chaotic. So cops got to be around. There have to be order. There have to be decency. You have to have staff on deck ready to handle the demand. They were talking about on their IG about, due to the high demand of this and that. Listen, man, who in the world is in charge of marketing? Like, that person needs to be fired. I mean, real talk. Who who is in charge of this? That person needs a memo, because it's unacceptable to have a store in Soho where you're supposed to understand the kind of crowds that can turn up at an event like that for a very limited shoe. Whoever organized this thing needs to be fired. You understand? It's an embarrassment to the city. It's an embarrassment to your company, because everybody's going to blame your company. You can blame the people. You can say, oh, New Yorkers don't know how to act and New York is this. That's a cop-out to say that. At the end of the day, I blame the companies, because companies have to have things in order so that there can be order. You understand? No different than when y'all trying to get us out and y'all call the cops and the cops come and they shut it down and get rid of everybody. Well, that very same method can be used right at the beginning before anybody show up. You got the cops there, you have a numbering system, you have a band system, and it is what it is. Once people come in, you write their name down, their ID, whatever it is that they got. You take all their information. That way we know who is there first, because it's a first come, first serve event. You understand? You have to live by that word. And they didn't live by that. They treated us as if though we were homeless people begging for crumbs. That's exactly how we all felt, because they know at the end of the day we all want our shoes. I mean, I'm a shoe tuber on YouTube. I review shoes, I review clothes, and that would have been a very successful video for my particular brand. It would have been a very good video to review and pretty much model the clothing, and it would have not only helped my channel, but it would have also helped Levi's as well, because they would have been getting a load of free promotion. You understand? Because you have to understand, owning a pair of denim 4 Jordans obviously mean that you would need denim clothes to go with it. So what better brand to look for clothing than from Levi's? So it would have been an event. It would have been a video that would have been very good, because I actually have a certain number of Levi's clothing that I wanted to pretty much review and model, but I didn't know how I was going to be able to bring that particular brand into my platform, especially when rocking Jordans. I just never known how to incorporate Levi's with Jordans. So when these Jordans was about to release, I was like, this is the best time to start to promote and review the Levi's clothing, because people are familiar with the Jordan brand. They're familiar with the denim Jordans that was released. So right after releasing that shoe, I was going to do that review, and then I can still have that window of opportunity where I can talk about Levi's brand clothing, sweaters, jeans, and pretty much the viewers would be more accepting of it because they seen the video of the Jordan 4 denims. So that was pretty much ruined, and it's unfortunate. And now they're telling us that everything is postponed, and pretty much everybody is waiting to see what they're going to do next. Everybody's waiting to see are they going to release the shoes, because they're telling us, everything is postponed, keep it locked, and they're going to do something different or whatever the case is. Nobody's giving us answers of where the shoes is, because I heard all kinds of stories. We don't have no more shoes. The shoes were never here. It's not going to be sold at this store. And I'm like, look, man, you people are playing too much games. And I think this is why people get violent. You understand? People get violent because businesses don't know how to organize. That is why people are getting rowdy in the street. Not with the group that I was a part of. The group that I was a part of, we were the most civil group of people you can possibly imagine. You understand? I would have been recording it, but the thing is, my battery was running low. I mean, after being out there 14 hours, your battery starts to run low, especially when you're, texting and doing other things back and forth to pretty much, keep your sanity while you're trying to wait. It's just a very, very unfortunate, bad experience. I mean, I think that was like the worst experience trying to get a particular shoe, especially when you were going to secure it. I mean, I knew I was going to get a pair. That's how confident I was. I knew I was going to get a pair. So to be denied that, it felt like we were homeless people begging for crumbs, because everybody there had their money. Everybody had. I'm trying to cop the shoe and the jacket. And I was going to ask them questions like, yo, could I cop 2 or 3 of the shoes? You know what I'm saying? I came there prepared, like literally, real talk. I came there prepared to cop at least 3 pairs of shoes and a jacket, because my goal was actually to get 2 pairs, you understand, for myself, 2 pairs for myself and 1 pair for my brother. But one of the shoes that I was going to get, I was going to put that in a frame, like a glass case, and never use it. It was just going to go into a glass case as a Levi's Jordan brand shoe, whatever. And I was pretty much never going to use it. And, I know it was probably not going to happen like that. They were probably going to tell us, oh, you only could buy 1. But sometimes on a first come, first serve basis, you can buy as many as you want. But being that they're limited, they may not have want to do that. But yeah, this event here in New York City with Levi's in Soho was a disaster. It was just very, very unprofessional, and I think that they did a lot of damage control to try to make it look like it wasn't their fault. They try to make it look like it's just the people's fault that was on the outside. And I'm here to tell you, the general public, that it wasn't the people's fault. The reason why the event failed was because Levi's were unprepared. They were unorganized, and they didn't seek professional services from people who understand how to release shoes to the public as a first come, first serve basis. I mean, once you release Jordans that is this limited, first come, first serve, you better be prepared for the crowds. I mean, everybody is going to come, everybody. So you have to be prepared for that. You got to call the fire department. You got to call everybody, because once people get there, there's going to be a lot of noise. There's going to be a lot of flames. There's going to be a lot of fire. People are going to be there wilding out because you're going to have different types of people. So to deal with that type of demand, to deal with that type of issue, you have to have the authorities there. Don't just call the authorities to shut something down and, they're going after everybody. And, a lot of people there are innocent people. They're just working class people who just want to buy their stuff. I mean, get rid of the people who are causing the problems. Once the people who causing the problems are not there, all right, business as usual. Give the people what they want. That's the whole game. Give the people what they came there for. You too busy holding back shoes hostage. You're holding back product. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, they kept their doors closed, literally, all the way to when I just said, look, I'm out, because the cops are just literally shutting everything down, and everybody was just pissed. Everybody's just going home. We waited there the whole day, but they literally kept their doors closed, man. From you could say literally from when I got there at night all the way to the afternoon, which means they had no business. Nobody made any sales. You understand? All the traffic that was coming through that sidewalk area. You know how many customers wanted to go inside that store? And I'm not talking about people just looking for Jordans. I'm talking about regular customers that's walking by and they want to know what's going on. What's happening here? Because they wanted to go in there and shop, and they couldn't shop because Levi's were too busy trying to get us to leave. They didn't want to let no other customer in the store because they didn't want us to feel as if though they were backdooring the shoes. Because, if they would have let anybody in, the first thing we would have been like is, how you going to let that person in and you ain't let us in to buy shoes? So they didn't let nobody in. So basically they lost probably thousands of dollars, because we're talking about from early in the morning all the way to the afternoon. That's a lot of money lost. And on top of that, they didn't sell no Jordans. So that's a lot of money lost. So all the resources and everything that was designed to have this event was wasted. So a lot of money is being wasted. You know what I mean? Whoever organized this whole thing should be fired. Simple as that. It's an embarrassment for the city. Because now all that does, it causes you to lose business. You have a lot of people such as myself that are going to be very disappointed, and they're not going to be very fond of your company. And you have nothing and no one else to blame but yourself. Because I don't care how anybody feel, you, Levi's, are responsible for the way that situation turned out last night. Levi's is responsible. If there was any crowds and they were acting wild and wilding out or whatever the case is, I blame Levi's once again. Because you have to understand, regardless how people act, they can only act like that when there is no order outside, which means you have nothing set up to control the crowd. You have a bunch of people that are there for shoes, but you don't have no system in place to do crowd control. You have to understand the difference between a crowd and actual customers who want to purchase shoes. There's going to be a lot of people that go out there to hang out. They just came out there with their friend and they just standing around. They ain't buying nothing, but they're just standing around. So they're going to be blasting their music just like somebody was blasting their music when I got there. I'm like, people out here blasting music in their car. I'm like, yo, what the hell, yo? It's already late at night. You're just drawing more attention, You're drawing more attention to us with this car, with this music. What it is, what it is. I mean, you want to play your music, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, the people there that was there with me, they were more civil. People were lined up. We were all ready to rock and roll, and they didn't give us no shoes, man. All the way to like 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon, no shoes, no nothing. And I'm hearing things that, after we left, a couple of people were able to get shoes. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, so you can't really quote me on that, but I'm hearing about that. And it's kind of unfortunate that, all these people were there. It was like about a good 30-something people. 30-something people. They could have gave everybody a pair of shoes, literally. Everybody could have got a pair of shoes. But no, it didn't go down that way. It didn't go down that way. Instead, they let everybody go home. And now we get to go home empty-handed. And now if they do a new release, all the shoes now would be dispersed to people that weren't there, that it didn't go through the blood, sweat, and tears that we went through. And they didn't even earn it. If anything, we the people who were there last night, we earned our right to own a pair of those shoes. We did. But once again, Levi's took that opportunity away from us because they were more focused on whatever reasons they had in mind, which to me was more of a selfish mindset of holding back product. Maybe they want to do backdoor sales where they're making more profit off of each shoes. Maybe the shoes, they want to hold it back for family and friends. These type of things go down when you least expect it. So that's pretty much my experience with that. Right now, we are pretty much waiting to see what Levi's will do to remedy the situation, because here's the thing, and I hope that somebody who's at the top of the totem pole, who understand all of the legalities of these type of things, can pretty much listen to this and take notes. If Levi's have an event that is supposed to be first come, first serve, that means that store was supplied with a certain number of shoes. Now, if they didn't sell anything, then the exact number of shoes should still be in the store. And if one or two is missing, then somebody needs to be fired, because that means that you are taking the product that is actually for the general public who come there first, and you're using it for personal gain under the table. And I think that is what's going on. And if it is so, somebody need to check the inventory to find out exactly how much shoes that Levi in Soho was supposed to have on deck. And they need to do an count of the amount of shoes that are available, and if it don't match the number, then somebody needs to answer for that. Because the worst thing you can do is have a business and you are backdooring the shoes when people have, literally waited all night and day. They're tired, they're hungry, they're sleepy, but they fought their body to just stay and stay. And it got to the point where the people with inside Levi's knew we weren't going nowhere. So they called the cops so that they can disperse us again, because they kept saying we're on the sidewalk. Look at all of y'all on the sidewalk. You got to let traffic pass. They were just making up all kinds of excuses for us to leave. But, I want to see exactly how they're going to dig themselves out of this one. I want to see how they're going to do this, because I want my shoes. At the end of the day, I want my shoes. This is not going to make me respect Levi's anymore, because they have totally ruined their reputation with this one. Like literally every other store and whatever was doing raffles and the Nike app had something that I had missed, where you could have reserved the shoe and pick it up at different locations. That would have been sweet if I would have known about that. But it was only for New York only. And yet Levi's, in the heart of Soho, they failed the fans. They failed the Jordan fans and Levi's fans. Because I'm not going to lie, I own a certain amount of Levi jeans, preferably the 511 jeans. And notice they're getting some promotion right there, even though I don't really feel like they deserve that. But at the end of the day, it is in fact a good pair of jeans. And to have a company that is so large, and they don't know that providing a first come first serve event for a limited sneaker, they don't know that that's not going to cause some controversy, that's not going to cause some disturbance. It's going to cause some havoc. That comes with first come first serve. That's a part of the experience. But shutting down the event and sending everybody home, I think that's a little too extreme. If anything, you should get control over that crowd. Disperse the crowd that is causing the problems by using the force of the police, and then allowing the people who actually are there, who is civil, line up so that we can go back to business as usual. That's how a company runs its business. But at the end of the day, Levi's didn't do that. They just closed their doors and shut us out, and was just hoping for us to go home. And that was very, very discouraging. It was a very, bad experience, to say the least. It was really very bad. I'm sure all the sneakerheads that was out there would agree that we all left dry. We left literally dried with nothing, and it didn't feel good. And I almost feel as if though Levi's in the store was looking for us to act very violent and crazy and start acting funny. I think that that's what they wanted, because with all of the BS we had to endure, I'm surprised nobody act out. I'm surprised, because we put up with a lot yesterday. We put up with a whole lot of stress, a whole lot of running around. Every time we thought we were about to, get the shoes, or they look like they opening the doors, and, they turn around and tell us something else. You know what I mean? Then they had all these different people telling us this, telling us that. And then you had the other guy that's from Kif. I think his name is Paul or something like that. He was there. And, I'm not even going to go into all the issues with that guy, because, I just see a lot of lies. There's just a lot of BS that was going down, man. It's very, very, very discouraging, man. People got to be more professional when they deal with these issues, man. So that's pretty much my take on my experience dealing with this thing. Hopefully, if Levi's get their act together, they may put something together, and I'm still able to get the shoes. That would be a great victory in all of this. But I pretty much took my money and went shopping, man. I bought a whole load of stuff, man. I took that $500 and went wild, what I'm saying? Got me some nice clothes, man. And but at the end of the day, if they drop the shoe and it comes out today, hey, I'm still picking it up. It is what it is. I actually want the jacket and the jeans. The jacket and the shoe. And then eventually, if that goes planned, if it goes according to plan, you'll get a review. If it don't, then hey, it is what it is. But I'm not spending no resale prices for that shoe. I'm not spending $600 for it. They actually had one guy. He was there in his car, and a white dude was walking by, and he sold him a pair of those Jordans for like $650, and the dude actually bought it, which is kind of crazy, man. Like, yo, you just bought the shoe there for $650, man. Like, bruh, it ain't worth that, man. Like, really. These shoes are not worth spending $650 for. I understand it's hyped up. I understand we all want it. But at the end of the day, man, to spend $650 for a denim pair of Jordan 4s is a waste of money. That's a waste of money, man. You could have went and bought yourself some high-end designer shoes for $650. That's the first thing I think of. I am not spending that on no Jordan. You know what I mean? You gotta be kidding me, man. And then on Flight Club, they selling these shoes for like $1,000 each. I'm like, yo, y'all bugging, man. Y'all bugging, man. Like, really, man. Even if I had an extra pair and I was selling it, I would not sell it at no, $600. You know what I mean? If anything, the shoe would probably be double of what the price is. So if I spent $225, then you're looking at around $450, I believe. Around $450, that's what you would be paying. It's just $450. Give me $450, I'll give you the shoes. Why? That way you get back the money you made and you earn the profit. But to be selling it for $650 and $1,000, I think that's ridiculous. So leave your comments, leave your feedback. Hope you enjoyed this little video of me sharing my little experience about what went down in Soho in New York City and why I was unable to secure the shoes. That pretty much is it. And I know I'm leaving out a whole lot of information, but it is what it is, man. I'm out. Peace.